And to be quite frank with you, I'm really amazed at all the stuff that you've invented and created to help automate the world. And I'm just so blown back by it.
You'll probably never find my name mixed up with any of it either.
And that's the sad
That's
part.
the beauty. That's the beauty of working in the back room for GE.
Yeah. Oh man.
I tell you another thing I always did,
What?
and I've always held it up as a form of pride, really. And whenever I shipped one of my controls out, no matter where it was going in the world, I always signed the inside of the control case.
Really?
I always signed my work. I was proud of my work, and I always signed it and took responsibility for it.
That's good.
So if you can't feel that way about your work, it shouldn't be going out the door.
Exactly. And it's amazing though because like you could just take apart those like the machines and see the guy who made it, and that's you. And I like that how you personalized it and how you take pride in your job.
Well, it's just first you got to learn their language, then you got to learn what they want to do, then you got to see what you got to do it for them, then you put it together and you sell it to them.
It's
Just
so
that simple.
yeah, it's true. And once I get the language down, I hope to become as good as an engineer as you.
Yeah, well, what year are you in now?
I'm done my first year.
You've done your first year, huh?
Yeah.
You got through all the chemistry and
Yeah,
and physics and junk, right?
yeah, I'm almost bald now because of it.
Second year is a little better. You get to get in some of the calculus and stuff now, I guess, right?
Yeah, and then we start learning that stuff, and then we start touching off base onto some other ideas and such and such. Yeah, it's I'm just glad my first year is over with because that's like the hard. I don't know. It was a pretty tough year.
Well, colleges use the first 2 years to weed students out.
Yeah.
That's where they flunk them out. It's the first 2 years. Then the third year, they start teaching them what they're going to try to teach them for the degree. Like my son now, he's high functioning autistic. He was never supposed to be able to write his name,
Oh,
and
really?
he's got 2 degrees from our community college in computer aided drafting for architecture and computer aided drafting for engineering.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was never supposed to be able to write his name. I worked with him for some 28 years now.
Well, tell me more about that, please. Like how did you help? How did you work with them?
Well, I just worked with him. I spent his whole high school, middle school and high school career in Richmond with him, so he could go to school in the public system in Richmond because they wanted to put him in an institution where he lived, and I had to kidnap my own son in order to keep him in a public school.
So they wanted to put him in an institution. That's horrible.
And well, that's the school system for you. But anyway, I spent 20 years fighting the school system. So I learned a lot about the school system.
That's terrible though. Like you pretty much had to kidnap your own kid to get him a public education. That's
I did. They tried to get me for kidnapping,
jeez.
and he was my own son.
So
Anyway, I'll tell you a little secret that he came up with himself, which I think is very significant. And if you have any relatives or any friends or anybody that you know of, and most people do know people that are either autistic, the autistic children, or the ones that are born slow learners, the ADT types. This category of kids that they have troubles with in school. If you know anybody that's got kids like that, now Christian taught himself to read by simply turning on the closed captions on his TV. And I think that was one of the big crossovers that got him to where he was able to communicate with the world.
that's
They
pretty
didn't
smart.
teach him how to read in the school. He taught himself by reading the closed caption while he was hearing it on the television screen. And if I tell all these people that's got these autistic children, they can't do anything with them, turn on the closed caption. They'll read it. They'll learn from it.
That's
Because
amazing.
I got a son that's proves it. He's proven the point.
Yeah.
But they still these PhD and doctors and psychiatrists and all this bunch of they think I'm full of crap.
Oh no, Bob, you're a genius, and obviously your son's a genius too. Though, if he was able to learn to read like that, like, and that just proves to us, like, that proves to everybody how bad the public school system is now.
You know, it's being he has an advantage I don't have, being autistic like he is, or high functioning autistic. He has a photographic memory.
Oh, really?
Did you ever play this video game called Mario's World?
Yeah, yeah, I have when I was younger.
Yeah, when you go before you got King Cooper up on the top, you know,
Yeah.
and you got Yoshi down on Yoshi's Island on the bottom. Well, I could get almost past Yoshi's Island.
Really?
My son, since he could remember all the steps and every bit of the programming in that thing and everything that was going to happen, he was up there within 2 days and had knocked off King Cooper.
Oh man, that's amazing.
He'd go see these video games like they're going out of style. I mean, he can remember what's coming up, and if you can remember, then you've automatically got it defeated. You know where the bat's going to come from in the cave, right?
Oh yeah,
You
totally.
can shoot it down. And so he's got, that's what autistic children have. They have these photographic memories.
Oh yeah.
And most people don't utilize that category.
Yeah, that's so true. That's amazing though that, like, you know, that your son's so gifted that way.
Well, that's the way they are. All of them seem to be that way. That's one of the characteristics that the yeah. See, their strengths are their technical ability and their memory rather than their social skills. And so, because they don't measure up socially, all the psychiatrists and everything want to put them in these institutions.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. But, like, you know, your son must be popular, like, with the ladies by having such a good photographic memory and being so smart.
Well, he invented this cartoon character called Sonic Shoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the inventor of that, and he invented that and put it online back in 2000. He was drawing all these cartoons, and he's got clubs all over the world.
Oh,
Sonic Shoe clubs.
That's amazing. Is he still has he made it into like a video game, or is he still doing the comic books?
And he's in comic book form.
Oh wow!
And he's got whole volumes of that stuff. He's been sharing with the public now for 8 years.
Oh, nice.
10 years, I guess.
That's amazing.
But,
like
people hate him for it, and people love him for it.
Oh, you know what, Bob? Like, the haters are always going to hate, but I think that's amazing that your son is so intelligent to actually become like an entrepreneur in the arts. That's amazing.
But anyway, he's a nice kid.
Oh,
he's got social problems. He still doesn't know how to interact, really. He's 28 years old now, and he still doesn't really know how to interact. But then that's the only part of the autism that's left now.
Yeah. But the main thing is, though, that he's creative, he's smart, he's got a photographic memory, and he created something that is amazing to him and to his whole family and to the whole world.
Yeah, but he's got all these degrees, and yet he can't get a job. He can't even get a job at McDonald's.
That's horrible.
That's the way the system works in this country.
It's
a terribly awful country, really.
Yeah, that's horrible. Why can't he get a job?
Nobody wants to hire autistic children or anybody that's got any kind of difficulties, learning difficulties, or attention deficit disorders, or anything like that.
That's terrible.
They don't want anything to do with them.
So he's never had a job before?
He's never had a job.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
He won't even hire him at McDonald's.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible, sir. That's just horrible. But
When he said, as far as I'm concerned, he's head and shoulders above everybody that works at McDonald's.
oh yeah, just from what just from what you've told me alone, like all the stuff that he's accomplished, he should be like owning McDonald's,
Yeah, well, I don't know, but that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
You can get a job. You see, you can go out and get a job at McDonald's without any question because you don't have any problems socially with interacting with the other people because you went through a normal childhood, I guess, and normally went to school and you knew when to close your mouth and you knew when to open it.
Yeah.
And but see, autistic children don't work that way.
Like
they don't know necessarily when to open and close their mouth.
But he must have got really good grades in high school and college, though, right?
He did all right.
Yeah. Was he like? I was never on the honor roll in high school, and I've never actually known anybody who was ever on the actual honor roll in high school. So, I was just wondering if he was on the honor roll or if he made it.
No, but he was in special education most of the time.
Oh, okay.
The last 4 years, he was mainstreamed.
Oh.
You know what they mean by mainstream. He just goes to class like the other kids.
Yeah.
But he got a high school degree, and the social services people in my home county where I now live, they were the ones that wanted to put him away because they said he'd never be able to write his name.
But you know what, Bob? He proved them wrong, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I did. I'm glad I did. It was worth it.
Yeah.
I got to spend a lot of money on it. My wife and I were separated for about 10 years. So she was in Ruckersville, and I was in Richmond. And I was over there with him, and she was over here trying to make some money. But we're all back together, and it was worth it. We've got him educated. We know what he can do. Whether these dumb places in the world have to hire him know what he can do or not. They just are afraid to take a chance.
Yeah.
They're afraid of what they don't know.
Exactly, and that's a shame because from what you just told me,
the whole world is down on handicapped people. A handicapped person can hardly get a job.
Yeah,
I think it's a crime.
Yeah, and it's a gross injustice in our society, Bob.
It is, but that's just the way it is. Because he's a great cartoonist. He can draw. He can portray. He knows the internet like the back of his hand, and he writes. He writes all these volumes of stuff, and he just shared it with the world. He won a patent thing in England just recently.
Really?
There's some guy over there that was trying to say that he was infringing on something that guy did, and the patent people in England, Her Majesty's Patent Service or some, came to our defense and proved the guy wrong, and so he's got it now. He can do his sonic shoes all the time he wants. He's got it trademarked and copyrighted, so he's got full ownership of it.
Does he set up a website where I can read the comics?
It's a combination of Sonic Shoe and Pikachu. The Sonic and Pikachu.
Okay.
And he invented this whole family of cartoon characters. There's Sonic, Sonic Shoe, and Rosa Shoe, and a whole bunch of them. And he does cartoons, and he did have them on the internet. I think he's pulled them all down now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad.
He got tired of fooling with all these people that are trying to kill him. There's so many people that hate his guts in the world.
Oh, that's horrible.
He get all kind of death threats and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, well, have you been taking it to the police?
Yeah, they don't care. I get phone calls all the time where they're spoofing my phone. Kill these people.
That's terrible.
There are always people in the world out to get you, particularly if you're successful. Jeez. And he is successful, but he can't get a job. He cannot earn any money.
That's terrible.
Isn't that sad?
That is very sad, actually. That's horrible.
That's the world you're fixing to go into.
Yep, that is true. And I'm hoping to make it a better place just like you did, Bob.
So you got to learn how to brown nose.